the chicken went rogue, man.
The chicken went
Right,
big.
right. The chicken turned into a bear. We gotta fry us some chicken today.
We want some chicken tenders.
Right, right. Let's make some chicken cutlets
Oh man, we can go on and on about this, but
all day.
you know what? I think it's about time I say it. I don't like the chicken. I don't like this guy. He's wishy-washy. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, we kind of got into it a little bit in our last video, which we'll post here. There's something about him that just comes off as like just weak, just
Yeah,
weak.
it's
He's a
like,
weak
dude.
spirit, sort of like a weak, fragile man, and easily, I don't know, easily saddened, easily provoked.
Yeah,
Um,
he's off of YouTube. I'm not gonna go on YouTube anymore. It's not worth it. I have my life is great. It's not
right.
worth it. This is
But
what he
in
says.
a very dramatic way. I mean, it wasn't just an exit from YouTube. It was like this, that literally the thing was closing on his head. I mean,
Right.
felt bad for the guy, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, you don't take things so personal, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's just look. I don't like coming down hard on people on YouTube. We're also YouTubers, obviously. You can
yeah.
come down hard on us, but he seems just like he has no backbone. I don't know what it is. It's like
It's sensitive. He's just real sensitive,
maybe that's
really
all it is.
sensitive. That's what it is. I think that's what it comes down to. It's just real sensitive guy. He's easily hurt. He's a little into his feelings, which look, it's fine. It's fine. But if you're gonna put yourself up online, that's the worst place to put yourself if you're that
You're on
kind of
the
a
internet,
person.
buddy.
Yeah, you're on the internet. I mean, it's nothing. It's like the arrows from 300 that block out the sun. It's like it's just coming at you from every direction. You got to be able to take that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And this is why, it's not easy for us to take it too. Sometimes there's commenters. So what I do is I block them. Okay, that's what I do.
right.
I first I
Vitaly,
respond, nasty comment,
right. He
and
responds first, and then he blocks. Yeah, I do that on Twitter.
anyway, okay, so let's watch this video because it's making the rounds in the YouTube community, the finance community. It's just interesting. It's not news per se, but it's just interesting. So let's watch it.
By the way, it was like I wonder what the over under spread was on him actually coming back. Remember, he was like, I'm done with YouTube," and it was like, "Ah, he'll be back, he'll be back." I wonder what the spread was on that
Well, I
on the
think me
bet.
and you said he'll be back in like a couple of months, and it was I don't even think it's 30 days. I mean,
It has been a couple of months. Yeah, no, it's been more than that. It's been more than
no, no,
more.
it literally he started coming back on Twitter. He started posting more after he left YouTube. He started posting more on Twitter. And then after Twitter wasn't enough because Twitter's not enough, we need the YouTube
No,
hit.
you need, yeah, you want to be on video, of course. There
Yeah,
is a
well,
bit of a showmanshipness to this, right? The spectacle of YouTube.
and if he really didn't care, would he be sitting sort of look at the image right now? He's obviously placing himself in a decent environment with decent lighting. If he really didn't care, right? I feel like there would be less production going on here.
Like I feel like, look, he's obviously got a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think like he seems to me to be the kind of guy that made a lot of money really early and then did everything that he ever wanted to do, and now he's bored, right? Like
yeah.
you get bored. Like you can't vacation forever. So if he really is sitting on all the money he's sitting on, then I don't think there's got to be some sort of like empty feeling inside, or like what do you do to fill your days if you have all the money in the world and you don't need to work?
Yeah,
That's
but then what I say is be honest about it. Like me and you, I like YouTube. I like going on and
yeah,
having discussions and talking to the people in the
yeah.
Discord. I actually enjoy it. Okay, so it's actually fun for me. This guy makes it seem like it's a job, and then he comes back in and just keeps doing it because we know he enjoys it. We know he likes the publicity, but he just can't be honest about it. That's another thing I just don't like. Just be honest about it, dude. You like being famous, you
I
know?
love how you're like, let's do a reaction video to chicken. We haven't played a single frame of anything, and
All right, all right.
Vitali's just shing 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 shing. Just
Oh man, yeah, that's good.
all
That's
right. So let's play 2 seconds, and then the rant continues.
I like Tesla as a company. I am a fan. The Model 3 Performance is the best car I ever owned, period. But Tesla is the stock. Now? You must be kidding me. I'm presenting to you facts. I know there will be reaction videos made. Toxic fanboys coming after me. What's new? But I
We're just gonna
couldn't.
pause that. I think we're the toxic fanboys.
I mean, first, I don't consider myself toxic, nor do I consider myself a fanboy. I mean, look back at
I don't know.
anything we've ever said. I think we've always been justified with our criticism. So I reject that, chicken. I reject that.
I think
You already lost a point.
yeah, I'm not a Tesla toxic fanboy. What I am is like I'm calling you out on being like a total BSer. That's what I'm calling you out on.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna get into this, but remember, he was a long-term Tesla investor, and I think in this video we'll see he's really not an
I
investor.
think he made most of his money on call options, to be honest. I don't think
Right,
he was.
so he's a
that many
trader.
shares.
He's not an actual
Right. So he's a
investor.
trader. He made a bunch of money on call options. That who knows how much Tesla stock he even has now. But to set the record straight, I am not fanboying anything with my hard-earned money and the money of my family. I'm not fanboying anything. So you lost the point, chicken.
-1.
Already, -1.
I don't depend on YouTube. I have a great life outside of YouTube. I value truth more. For transparency, a quick history.
Okay, so
Okay, stop right there.
first of all, let me see this.
Yeah. Right. He's probably the guy recording.
Is this the chicken?
Or that could be the chicken. Yeah. That could be the chicken.
Or maybe he just took a B-roll clip. We don't actually know. And what is he jumping with some old dude? I don't know. What is this?
I don't know. Look, I don't even want to get into. I don't want to get into what I really think's happening there. We'll get kicked off of YouTube.
Right. This is Caligula.
But again, okay. It's this. There's a need for him to a validation. He's trying to prove that he's got a great life. Like this part is not necessary. If you have something to say about Tesla, more pain to come. You could say, hey guys, I've been investing in Tesla for a while. This is what it is. He's already preempting the attacks that he thinks he's going to get because it obviously means something to him. It goes back to what I said earlier that I think he's just real sensitive inside, and he takes a lot of it personal.
Yeah, but if he's sensitive, and then I'm just skip ahead, not to look at those guys' backs, but
right.
Skip ahead. But basically, yeah, he's like, what do you got to show off? You got this great life. If you have such a great life, don't come on here and give us your input on anything. Just enjoy your life. Like, if you don't enjoy this sort of publicity, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it seems ridiculous.
I bought it way back here, and I sold some at 1,002. This was before the split. I bought back too early and started to hedge here. I missed out the spike. I also missed the downside. I started to short the stock at this resistance level by selling stock, converting my hedge to a short, and recently closed out for a nice profit. Looking back, my consistent track record of being too early is goddamn annoying. But the profit is a profit. Guess that's all that matters.
But we got to cover this because this just proves that, you know, he had Tesla shares, but I don't think he's giving the full story because look, he hasn't posted all his trades. Obviously, he's saying he bought here, which was down at the like the $40 range.
Yeah, early on.
20, whatever now, and now it's probably like $20 or $10 at this point with all the splits. And then he sold here at the tippy top, like
1,002. He said 1,002.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying he didn't sell any shares of that, but I just feel like you're already being disingenuous. It's doubtful that you got the bottom of the bottom and you got the top of the top. I'm sure he sold along the way, he traded along the way, but he's making it seem like his picks were pretty much perfect until this point when he went back in and he had a wrong call. That's what he's saying here.
We said he missed the bottom to buy back in, or he bought in too early. I mean, look, to me, that's not really a matter of consequences. Anybody that was accumulating from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, you didn't know it was going to go to
2019. Yeah,
all the way up to 2019. You had no idea what was going to happen. You were buying it because you believed in the company. And then when you see it run up to, I mean, that gives you a long time to accumulate a lot of shares. When you see it run up to $1,000, anybody sitting on that much profit is going to sell. So it's not like you're a guru. But his whole plan after the fact, when he started to trade it, where he shorted it, he bought puts to protect what he already had and then sold calls or whatever. Okay, fine. So he traded the stock. That's great. Again, I don't know what this preamble is all about. If you have information about Tesla stock, you don't need to qualify it by, oh, I did this, right?
Converting my hedge to a short, and recently closed out for a nice profit. Looking back, my consistent track record of being too early is goddamn annoying. But the profit is a profit. Guess that's all that matters. Let me ask you this serious question. This is one of the worst economic conditions ever. Do you really expect the first thing people will buy is a car? It's not just a car, a premium car. You must be out of your mind. Wake up. Auto sales are one of the first sectors to get hit.
Yeah, it seems to me like he's making a case that Tesla sales are about to collapse and that people are not going to be buying premium cars in general, let alone premium cars. And look, he might be right, but people that I know that bought Teslas, they're not buying them simply for the vehicle factor. They're buying technology, and people don't stop buying technology, especially people with money. He's not the only one that made money in the stock market. He acts like there's nobody with money out there. Like, I personally bought 2 Teslas since 2020. You've purchased 2 Teslas since 2020. I know a lot of people that bought Teslas specifically since 2020. And the number one reason that they bought it is fear that the price would go up. So this idea that no one's going to be buying cars, let alone premium cars. That may be the case, but at least Tesla's trajectory being that prices will only continue to go up is making people do whatever they have to get to get the car now to lock in the price. So I don't think if that's where he's going with it, I don't think that's legitimate.
Well, I want to show you a flaw in his logic. So let me go back to the chart real quick. He's showing total vehicle sales, and I think he's right about the total vehicle sales. I'll stop the share. Right, but my point is he's showing total vehicle sales, and if you were to tell me that he's not saying Tesla's vehicle sales, of course he's leading to that, but he's showing total vehicle sales. And look, that is probably going to drop off a cliff because we had all of this front running
Right.
and the chip shortages. All of this happened in 2020, 2021.
Right, but Tesla's a really small, really small percentage of the total vehicle sales. It probably wouldn't even register on that blip.
And not only that, all of these other macro forces which are pushing Tesla, he doesn't go into it because if energy is more expensive, people will just want more electric vehicles. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is they're going to want electric vehicles themselves are only, what we discussed last episode, 4%, 5% of the whole market. So we're not
I don't even think it's that
total
high.
vehicle sales in terms
Right.
of all the gas cars out there. We're still eating into the market share of all the
Exactly.
gas cars. So he's ignoring all of this sort of stuff that's going on in the background. And the big thing we talked about, 2023 $7,500 tax credit coming for electric vehicles, not for gas vehicles, for electric vehicles. So he's ignoring the actual macro forces that are pushing people to go towards electric vehicles,
Right.
which is weird because like last episode, by the way, I was a bear. Remember Q3, Q4, I'm bearish. I think
Yeah.
Tesla stock won't do well. But when I'm looking out to 2023, 2024, I'm like, this is going to do really well.
And I also believe that they're going to be doing a buyback before the end of the year. I don't think they're stupid.
well,
They're sitting on a lot of cash.
Who knows if that'll happen?
Listen, they're sitting on a lot of cash. And I think in order to buoy the stock and as a gift to the investors, I can see them saying, you know what? Towards the end of the year, let's do a $5-10 billion buyback.
Mm-hmm.
Give everyone a little gift.
Christmas
buoy
gift.
the stock price a little bit. I can see that, man. And so, all right, let's see what you got, chicken. But already, you lost another point. He's -2.
He's talking about all vehicles. You can't talk about Tesla in the terms of all vehicles. You just can't because 3%, 4%, maybe even 5% of the market, the total market of all cars is so low that we're not even done eating into the other market. So how can you say that we're going to suffer and Tesla sales are going to suffer? So this is the other thing I say. Point number 4 is that Elon himself has gone on every quarter and said, we are growing minimum 50% compounded.
Yeah.
He keeps saying that. And nobody believes him.
Right.
He literally
know.
says that every single time and
know.
nobody believes him. And it's like, dude, if you're a real Tesla investor, not a
Yeah.
trader.
He's talking to you.
Yeah.
He's talking to
Telling
you when he
that
says
we're
those
gonna be
things.
selling all our vehicles, buddy.
Right. He's saying we're selling every vehicle we made. We just opened 2 new factories that are ramping up, and we're selling every vehicle that they make. To your point, the total vehicle sales can still collapse while Tesla increases 50% year over year because it's such a small percentage. They might go, I don't know, 2%, 3%, but it's still a blip on the radar. So the overall picture will look like vehicle sales are down, but if you zoom in, there's going to be one company that is continuing to grow during this period. This is a problem, I think, when someone from outside of the US comments on what's happening in the US. Like, I can't comment on exactly what's happening in China because I don't live in China, and there's a knowledge that you have. So he's in Singapore, and that's great, and you're still getting all of your information from the news, right? You're not getting it from the firsthand experience of living out here and talking to other people like that are, say, in your same income bracket and in your same level, the same age
Forget
group.
about that. Don't even have to talk to anybody. I look outside my window. I can just sit there and Teslas are passing by.
It's insane out here. I mean, if you're seeing that out there, I mean, imagine what it's like out here.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the woods, by the way. Did I tell you? I live
And you're also, yeah, you're on the East Coast. What's the saying? As California does, so does the rest of the country eventually. Like, especially with that sort of green technology, I cannot tell you what it's been like. Just the last 2 years, I'm telling you now, every other car is a Tesla out here. Every other car. It's
Well, that's
crazy.
it. That's it. Chicken's right. They're done selling vehicles. Every other
Yeah,
car has been
everybody that wants one. It's for everybody that wants one has one.
no, but you see, like we see the growth visually, like you're saying basically. I don't know if he has the
Yeah.
same in Singapore. I don't know how it is with the Teslas being sold and bought. Maybe it's not as prevalent as like as it is here, where I can see
Yeah.
the actual growth. He doesn't seem to be actually looking at the facts of the situation. And the other thing, it seems like he's not actually an investor in the company because look, I know the stock is going down right now, and I've known it. I've been saying it on the podcast since $300. I've been
Yeah.
saying this is going down. Like this is going to keep going down. But I'm not selling my stock. Well, like why is that? Well, that's because they call me an investor. So I don't run out every single time some little dip happens in the
Yeah.
stock. That'd be ridiculous, first of all. Okay. So instead, I'm just going to buy the dip, accumulate more shares,
Yep.
and then I'm still waiting for this bigger number that's going to come in the future. I'm not okay with this number right now, the
Yeah.
700 billion, 600 billion, whatever it's worth right now. I think it's a 2 trillion, $2.5 trillion company minimum.
I agree.
Why
And
would I
that's
sell out?
Yeah, there's no reason to. I mean, look, he doesn't seem to be as invested in the company as say like someone like you and me in terms of like the mission of the company.
Right.
He's being a bit antiseptic with the way he's valuing the company or what he thinks the company's going to do. And again, I go back to what you said earlier. People just don't listen to what Elon says. Like they think because he's been off on the timeline for FSD that he's lying about everything. If you just listen to what Elon is saying, it's a no-brainer to keep investing in this company.
Yeah, he made it clear. We're growing 50% minimum till 2030. That's like almost verbatim what he said.
Yeah.
And so it's very simple. If you believe him, you should never sell the stock.
No,
If
you don't sell
believe
it. No, you don't sell it. You keep
Yeah.
accumulating. Anyway, okay, it's gonna take us sort of an hour and a half to get through his video. So
Yeah, it's a 4-minute video.
right, okay, let's see.
Of the
You come to Freelancer Finance for the discussions, not for the video. Remember, I want to
basically, yeah.
If I hear comments, by the way, saying, "Hey, you're talking too much over the chicken," you know what? F you. Go watch the chicken. Stop coming here. You're here for Freelancer Finance.
You're here for us. It's literally like, yeah, the only thing missing is a beer. Like we got to do one of these. We got to do one of these over a beer one time.
I
Literally
wouldn't
just
mind
having a
that.
beer, just chit chatting.
All right, we'll continue. We're only a minute 27 in.
All right, let's go.
first sectors to get hit. I present to you some facts. You make your own judgment. Long term, 5 to 10 years, FSD, robots, no problem. Short term, the fundamentals have changed. Tesla's backlog is shrinking. Back orders are being exhausted.
This FUD is all over the internet now that Tesla's backlog is shrinking, so
Okay.
there is less demand for the
Okay,
stock.
okay.
I mean, sorry, for the cars. There's less demand.
Right. Okay. Well, if Tesla is ramping up production and able to get vehicles to customers faster, of course they're going to eat into the backlog. The question is not how big the backlog is. The question is the rate of new orders coming in. Okay. If they're ramping up factories and they're able to produce more vehicles, it makes sense that they would be eating into that number, right? The real question is how many new people are ordering vehicles, and what is the rate on that? Like, what is their ability to satisfy those orders, right? And like you said, once they announce a $7,500 tax credit on all of these vehicles, there's a lot of people that might be holding off ordering the Tesla. I personally know someone I went to lunch with today that was like, I want to order a Tesla, but it's going to come so quickly now that I'm going to probably wait till the end of the year so I can get it next year. He's not the only person doing that,
Right.
So
But-
no, I don't necessarily think that it's an indication that nobody wants Teslas or that everybody that has wanted a Tesla has gotten it.
Yeah, and the backlog shrinking, like you said. What was the point of the factories? Isn't the point of making more factories so we get the cars to people sooner? I had to wait a year almost.
Yeah.
Elon does not want people waiting a year to pay him $60,000. First of all, he wants that $60,000 as soon as possible.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this backlog, I understand why people are a little worried about it because like, they're thinking, demand is shrinking. But no, if I would be worried if there were no new factories producing more cars, then you would say, demand is shrinking, but they have the factories and they're producing them. That's a problem. But they're ramping up for the very reason to kill this backlog so it's not so big, so people don't have to wait 11 months or 12 months for these cars.
For every 1,000 they lower the price of the vehicle, the order numbers that they're going to get increase exponentially. And the other thing is that number, if you can bring up the chart again, was what, 300 and something thousand? What does he say? Okay, 381,000 is what he says. What is that? That's the number of Fremont, Giga Texas, order backlog in units. Okay, Cybertruck is nowhere on that list, and we know for a fact just on Reddit that there's over 1 million pre-orders for the Cybertruck.
Where's the semi?
I don't know.
He's not looking at the whole picture of what's going on. He's looking at this statistic, which is missing a lot of information for 2023, by the way. So if he said, I can get a better price on Tesla, and I'm doing this as a trade because I think I can double my shares, you know what? You're a trader. You're making some sense. But he's giving you the bear case on why Tesla is doing worse and is going to sort of not fail, but do way worse in this environment. And honestly, from everything Elon has said, from everything we've seen, I don't think they're going to do worse in this environment. The stock may do worse. The actual company will not do worse. But so if he was clear about this is a trade where I can double my shares, I think that'd be a lot better than saying what he's giving us all the bear cases of why we shouldn't buy Tesla. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think underlying everything what he's saying is this need to be seen as an oracle. Like he started the video talking about how I called it. Huh?
Yeah, he said, I called it, yeah.
Yeah, he's saying I called it, I bought it here and I sold there. He's sort of alluding to the fact that I have an instinct about these things. I've been right in the past and so therefore I'm right in the future. And I think that seems to be really important to him, that he's seen as some sort of oracle, that he can see the future. He has some sort of sense of things that maybe guys like you and me don't have, and he's unleashing his knowledge for the mere peasants.
And he's being very dangerous, by the way, because the people who follow him into this trade, what happens when the thing reverses and you think it's still in a certain environment? You still think it's bearish. You're going to miss out, just like you did in 2020 when this ran up like 15x. There's a lot of people who sold out at 400 or 500 because they're like, oh, this is going back down again. You missed a 15x because you were short-sighted. So I'm not saying it's another 15x, but there's a 5x, a 3x. Who knows? You're going to miss it because you're short-sighted.
And we've said it before. Tesla trades more like a crypto. To be honest, it is volatile like a crypto is, and it is much more affected by sentiment than typical stocks. And on the negative side too, I mean, I think the reason why it's being held down so much is because Tesla is disrupting so many other companies that have paid a lot of money to lobby, whether it's the finance media as well as legislators. This is why I feel the picture that's being painted of Tesla is not accurate. If it was any other company that had an AI day like that, for example, if that was GM, it would be all over the news as this company is leading us to the future. Even our president would give the Mary Barra, if she put a rocket in space, he would give her tons of credit and tons of praise, and this stock reflect.
Yeah, American made, green energy, get rid of the Middle East, number 3. And I'm saying, like, this is a ridiculous conversation still. Like, we're still having this conversation trying
I know, it's incredibly frustrating, but I keep telling myself that there's going to be a point where only the money matters, right? Like when only the money matters, and the guys, no matter how much they hate him, or they don't want to say it, they have to give him credit.
Let's finish. Okay, let's finish this.
Imagine trying to watch a movie with Vitaly and I. Like, imagine trying to watch Return of the King.
Oh, God.
The director's cut of Return of the King.
Look, like I said, guys, I don't want to hear no complaining. You're coming here for our opinion, okay? If you don't want our opinion, go to Chicken's site and watch this 4-minute video. We're going to give you an hour breakdown.
This is what we would do anyway on the phone. We're just recording it this time.
All right, let's do this.
What about new order flow? If you got connections up at Tesla, ask them. Tesla is losing market share. I know
Like, is he a moron? I mean, honestly, like, they're losing market share. Once again,
he sounds like Gordon Johnson. That's Gordon Johnson's number one talking point, that Tesla's losing market share. You can still sell more vehicles quarter over quarter and lose market share because by the simple numbers, the fact that someone else is selling EVs.
You know what the number, the problem is that the way they should frame all of this is like the total market share of cars, and then put Tesla's number into that every single quarter, every single year.
Yeah.
In that respect, you would see they're not losing market share. They're selling. They went from selling, I don't know if you remember 2020, it was like 20,000 cars. I forgot what it was. It was like something really low, like 50,000 cars.
Yeah,
really
it was low.
It's, what is it? $1 million now? $1.5 million this year? $1.4 million.
I think that's what's expected. 1.3.
50,000 cars when we started buying the stock, approximately, to $1.4 million, and people are talking about they're losing market share. Like, you guys are morons. The chicken is a moron. That's what I'm saying.
That's a 2-point deduction. He's
Oh,
down 4 points now. I'm
you
gotten
know,
down.
we're gonna put you the points. I'm just this is totally stupid. The whole thing is
Yeah,
totally
no, it's a ridiculous talking point that is, it's a ridiculous talking point that is misleading people, because someone would say, oh yeah, well, if they're losing market share, then they must not be doing well. Then it's not a good investment. Like, you're using that to tell people not to buy the stock.
It sounds like a CNBC talking point, but this is a guy who's supposed to know the difference.
He knows better. He does know better.
Yeah.
Argument bulls make, the TAM is huge. However, in such market condition, price matters. If someone is buying an electric SUV, this is a BYD Auto 3 with the blade battery, at almost half the price of a standard Model Y.
I mean, this is why we can't get through a video. This is, like, I just want to point this out because it's idiotic. First of all, let me just go to this picture. I can't buy a BYD. Let me just, even if I wanted
America,
a
I know.
BYD,
Yeah, you can't.
I can't buy a BYD. BYD is
But this is
mostly in China, I think Australia, a couple of places.
Right.
What am I supposed to do with this information that's totally idiotic for me? The best car in America and most of the world is the Model Y.
Yeah, I agree with you. But this goes back to my point about he doesn't live in America.
But he doesn't live in reality. That's even worse. It's like, if you look at all the statistics on the Model Y in terms of it's becoming the #1 selling car, not electric vehicle, car, which is crazy to think that maybe a few short years ago, this guy, Elon, couldn't even sell 50,000 of these. Now it's going to be millions of them, you know?
The Model Y is becoming the #1 selling vehicle, electric or not, in a lot of the markets that it's entered, and a lot of the countries that are moving forward with adopting green technology. So I don't know. That's a number that doesn't, that's a real number. That's a real statistic. That's not made up. Like, the people have spoken. They're voting with their dollars. They have the choice, and in areas where they do have a choice between a Tesla and a BYD, which we don't have here. I mean, if you're in America, it's really, I don't know what else I would buy if I was forced to buy an EV.
Well, okay, so this is why I think I've lost all respect for the chicken, because he also knows, I'm going to point this out, this is so easy. You don't only buy a Tesla because of the car. The car's amazing, don't get me wrong. But there's another big reason you buy a Tesla, because they have a supercharging network all across the world that they own, okay? You can go anywhere and charge up your vehicle and supercharge it fast, as opposed to like broken chargers and all this, and we've talked about this many times.
Oh, yeah.
But BYD does not have the same thing. So when you're buying the BYD, you're not buying into that whole ecosystem. Just like when you buy an Apple, you're buying into an ecosystem. When you buy a Tesla, you're buying into an ecosystem. So that actually meant a lot to me when I was buying the second Tesla.
Yeah.
I was like, do I just buy another EV, not to have two Model Ys? Because that sounds sort of idiotic.
Right. It's kind of lame, but you go, what? But what's the other option?
Yeah, there's nobody at all. No BYD will ever compete. And there's another problem with what he's saying. You don't buy a luxury vehicle like he's saying, and then go buy a BYD. Like, if you're already looking at luxury vehicles, you can afford a luxury vehicle, first of all. You can afford a $60,000, $70,000 car in some respect.
Yeah.
You're not trying to find a $30,000 EV to save a couple of bucks. That's not how it's working.
Right. At this point in the adaptation curve, the people that are buying the EVs are not looking necessarily for the most economical version of it. You're buying into it to support the technology. And I think just hands down,
The best car.
yeah, the best car, #1 in customer satisfaction, but reliability. Like, there's too much data out there from existing customers. I mean, does BYD have millions of YouTube fan pages for it? I don't know. I just think these are just absolutely ridiculous arguments. And I get into this on Twitter sometimes. I'll get on Twitter and I'll see somebody make a false statement, and you try to correct them, and then they immediately just start attacking you. And as I go down the rabbit hole, I just realized, I think I said this to someone on Twitter the other day, that you are proof that the amount of money that has been spent lobbying by the oil and gas companies and like Legacy Auto has worked. Like, that the propaganda has actually worked to make people think that these cars catch fire, that, that Elon's a bad guy, that he's a liar, that the cars they don't work in the cold, they don't work, I'm just like, I can't believe that it's 2022 and we're still having these conversations,
Yeah, well, I know it works because my own father keeps telling me how when my battery's dead, my car is useless. I'm like, what happens when an engine dies? Like, I mean, like, it's like, yes, at some point I have to might fix the battery or replace. Yes, this has to happen. I get what you're saying. Okay. But you're just wrong about like the timing of it all. It's not going to happen in 6 months. This is like a decade from now when I have to worry about this. So all of these negative things that people bring up, it's funny because gas cars have similar negative things, but it's okay to ignore them now. It's like the gas cars are the good thing now. It's weird. They don't care about that. That's the thing. Like facts don't matter. Once you have an opinion that you think is a fact, that's it. Facts don't matter.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's very, very hard because it's almost like people attach their opinions to like their identity, and by you challenging their opinion with a fact, you're saying something about them.
Right.
You're saying they're a dumb person. No, you can be wrong. You can literally have made a mistake.
You can learn.
It's okay. But every time I think, okay, I'll engage with this person, I just realize like it's like talking to a wall. And I just say to myself, okay, these people are now the canaries in the coal mine that when they eventually come around, I know it's time to sell my stock. That's literally that's what I'm left with at the end of the day. That's when it's over.
That's basically right. When everybody believes this narrative that EVs are better, Tesla's great, yeah, we have no more upside.
That's it. Yeah, it's over.
Total demand destruction. China has a 1 week wait time. You order a Tesla, you get it in 1 week. Where are the new orders coming from? From Europe, China? China's economy is in shit and Europe is shittier on advertising from a company that says they will not advertise. Supply constraint, can't make enough cars to supply the market. But now they're hiring marketers and cold calling. Why? You think they got nothing better to do? Please just exercise some sort of common sense. Step out of the echo chamber just for a moment.
I mean, I have so many responses, but like, I don't know if it's worth going to every single sentence of this guy just dribbling nonsense. And the thing is, he has a point there about, in terms of if we're going into a bad economic times, it's not the best time to, like, that's a valid point. Like you can have a valid point that it's not the best time to buy an expensive car, right? But then he's ignoring everything that actually Tesla's doing while making that point about the economy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like two things can't coexist and Tesla still does well. That's what I keep going back to. It's like, just to bring it back to Enphase for a second, like in a recession, will Enphase do as well as it might have if it was a bull market? Maybe not. But and I bet you anything, Enphase will sell every single microinverter it has, even in a bear market, because people will not stop putting solar in, just like they will not stop buying EVs that are in high demand, and there's a low production volume still at this point.
With Enphase and Tesla in particular, those are two products that you buy that save you money on the back end. So in bad economic times, people do try to save money. And if you're already in the market, if your lease is going to be running out, you have to look at that too. People's leases are going to run out. They don't always have the decision of when they have to buy a new car. So if you're thinking to yourself, am I going to lock myself into a 3-year lease in a gas vehicle now, or just bite the bullet and buy the Tesla now and start saving on the gas? I mean, that in and of itself was a huge catalyst. The raising of gas prices was a huge catalyst. People were doing the numbers and saying, I'm spending basically double my car payment in gas. Why not just bite the bullet and pay a little more per month for the Tesla that's going to have less maintenance, over-the-air software updates, a better vehicle, better acceleration, better features, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's not thinking about those things. Thinks the consumer is just like cattle, that he's not taking into account all of the considerations that a typical consumer would.
These are the macro forces that we were talking about earlier that he's ignoring. The whole green movement, EV, solar, and it's the thing is that movement is not to save the earth; it's to save the wallet.
That's to save money, yeah.
Yeah. So the movement that he's ignoring is actually good for the consumer long term. If you're thinking long term, that I don't have to go to a gas station anymore. Well, guess what? I'm not driving somewhere out of my way and even spending time. That's something we don't even value in the same way. Like, how much time have I now saved by not driving to a gas station? How much money am I saving by not doing that? You know, like I can quantify.
How much money have you saved twice? You've compounded the savings by having the EV, which you could have charged off the grid and saved money there, but you also have solar that's feeding that. This was a point I made on Twitter with somebody who was like, but what do you do when you run out of juice? I'm like, I almost never run out of juice. Like, I can leave the house every day charged. And most of that energy is coming from the sun. Like, where are you guys getting your information?
Layoffs really pisses me off. I really feel bad for the employees. They work so hard. And till now, there's still nobody that can explain to me $18 billion cash, a high free cash flow at a company that grows 50% a year. 50%. Somebody just explain to me. Let me tell you something. Management knows something we don't.
Of course, management knows something we don't.
Yeah,
That's
as they should. As they should.
Are they supposed to tell us every little secret they have? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what's
Right.
going on. Okay, continuing. We're almost done.
Good luck. Think about it this way. The cost of energy directly affects the cost of manufacturing. You literally become uncompetitive. Energy is life. I may even do a video on this. Depends on my mood. Latest Tesla news. The last quarter deliveries were below estimates. I think that Q4 deliveries will be much higher. But remember, the markets are forward-looking, pricing in future expectations. Well, will I buy Tesla stock again? Yeah. Again, I love the company, but not the stock price. The target is still the same at 420 pre-split, which means about 140 levels. I mentioned this months back doing an interview with Tom Nash and Mandarin podcast.
Well, let's talk about this price level because I could see it going to 140. Like I wish his thesis was like I see our opportunity while the market, the economy is bad and the market is tanking. I see an opportunity to get a high quality company without all the FUD that he mentioned at CNBC talking points. Like if he said, no, they're growing extremely fast, but this Q3 thing, okay, 20,000 vehicles, but this was their best quarter ever. Q4, they're supposed to have even more, like we talked about. And if they miss by a couple of thousand vehicles, the stock price is going to tank. And I wish he was as clear as we were in our last video where we said, yeah, I'm taking the opportunity knowing that Wall Street is going to tank the stock and buy it on the way down. But he's not framing it this way. He's framing it, this is a bad stock to invest in. Okay.
It's funny. It's funny. There's so much wrong with it. I got to see if I can.
Bad company, bad stock.
Yes, I can. I got to see if I can say this the way I'm thinking it. If I can actually be clear. Okay. Yeah. I have a couple of problems with what he's saying. Number one. Okay. Tesla stock got hammered for missing deliveries. For missing delivery estimates set by people who have consistently misjudged and mischaracterized and had no idea what the company actually is. And so because they missed delivery estimates from people that still don't understand what this company really is, the stock got hammered. That to me makes no sense. The people that are setting these estimates don't understand the company. And so for them to say that this is where they should hit, and that's an indicator of whether or not the company's healthy or not, is complete BS, in my opinion. The other part of it is he's saying it's a great company. They're, I believe in the company. I believe in the mission. I believe they're going to be successful. They're growing 50% year over year. But here's all the indications that Tesla knows that the business is failing. They're hiring a marketing team. They're running out of orders. So basically what he's saying is it's not looking good for this company. But if it goes to 140, I'm going to buy it because it's a great stock to own for the future. I just don't understand where he sees this pivot point. If he says in 10 years, it's a great company, but right now in the short term, it's crap. The stock is crap right now, but it's crap if you're looking to sell. If you're looking to buy, then this is a good opportunity. So I really don't see the point he's trying to make because it seems like he's talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he's saying, look, at 140, I want to buy it because I think I have a 5X. I think that's what he's saying at the end of the day.
Okay.
But the problem is he's giving all the reasons to regular people who aren't savvy investors to watch YouTube and want all the answers, even from us. Like, dudes, we don't have all the answers, okay? Let's just be clear about this. But they're watching this Oracle of Omaha. That's actually
the Oracle of Singapore.
Oracle of Singapore.
The Oracle of Popeyes. This video brought to you by Popeyes. I hope a Popeyes ad. Let's say Popeyes 2 more times and let's see if a Popeyes ad will pop up. Popeyes chicken and waffles.
But the Oracle of Singapore here, that's a great line. We should put that in the post. But basically, like, he's not being honest about, if he knows so much about Tesla, he's not being honest to his audience saying that, look, I keep going back to, like, all he has to say is this is a great company, but Wall Street is going to hammer it in the interim while the economy is tanking. It's not going to do well just because stocks will not do well. That's what's going on. All stocks aren't doing well. It's not only Tesla, by the way. It's all stocks, okay? Except Enphase. Enphase seems to be immune to most of it.
Hold.
No, but my point is he doesn't frame it that way. He frames it as this is a loser company.
Yeah.
And it's
you're being lied to. Yeah, you're being lied to. The numbers aren't correct. The information out there is wrong. There's things happening behind the scenes to cover up what's lacking. There's things we don't know that management is not telling us. And if we knew, we would know how dire the situation really is. They're firing employees.
But I'll buy at 140.
He did that. Yeah, but at 140, it's a steal.
That's the end of it. He's not a long-term investor. He's not long-term investor minded. And he's going to try to time it up and down. And moving forward. So this is not a guy investors should follow. If you're trading, fine, go ahead. I think the stock is going down too, by the way. At the end of it, I agree. The stock is going down. So whether it hits 140, I don't know, but it's going down. I think 180 is very possible if we look at all the charts, right? And I think I showed you a good chart on our Discord.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going down. Should I sell everything? Look, I don't want to be going in and out of stocks, companies that I think are great for the next 5 years. I'm not going to do that. It seems idiotic. And then I'm causing all these tax events for me. I don't want to do it.
Now all the bears come out. This is the bear party. And so now everyone comes out piling on. Everyone's saying, I told you so. And they're all competing for who can make the worst case possible. This to me means.
It probably means we're close to the bottom. That's what it means.
This means that we're close to the bottom. I do want to show you something.
When everybody's so sure, by the way, that always, when everybody's
on either end, yes. When everyone's in agreement, consensus gets scared. I think right now Tesla is in an accumulation phase. The beginning of 2020, a lot of the short sellers piled in, and when it got too heavily shorted, that's maybe one thing that we should just pull up real quick. If it's worth keeping in the video, we keep it. I want to see Tesla's short interest.
Yeah, bring it up. The problem with shorting a company that's making a lot of money, okay, there's an actual problem. This is not a failing business. So if you are shorting, or even shorting, I mean even selling out of your position for a company that's generating bank, that is a very bad move on your part long term, because you might be right in the couple of months, whatever, 3 months, 4 months, but I bet you anything you will not time coming back in correctly, and you will miss the big upside when that happens. And it's so obvious that you're going to miss it, because all the upside happens. I know what Tom Lee said. It's like in 4 trading days in a year.
Yeah.
All the upside you're going to get out of a stock is 4 trading days. And I don't know who can time 4 out of 365 days. I cannot time that. That seems like a possibility. And apparently Chicken of Singapore, the Omaha of Singapore. The Omaha. The Oracle of Singapore apparently timed this.
All right. Market cap 698 billion. Percentage shorted only 2%. This doesn't seem real.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Profitable companies, you don't want to short a profitable company.
I'm mostly in cash. I left my smaller positions open. I don't give a shit. Remember, while it feels good to be in an echo chamber, my advice is to have some situation awareness. Don't be cocky. Markets will humble you. Invest safe.
Wow, okay. I literally feel like he was talking to himself. That last bit, the whole thing about his advice, be humble, be this and that. I feel like that's him talking to himself. I don't think he's as humble as I think he's telling himself that he should be more humble. He is not humble. He's clearly trying to position himself as some sort of oracle that can see the future, Eye of Sauron kind of thing, where I can see the future, and regardless of what you're hearing on the news or what everyone else is saying, this is the real truth, and you're only going to get it from listening to me. I have a lot of issues with that, and I look forward to reacting to his next video.
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is that you can't say invest safe and then be all in cash.
Yeah, right. Well, what he's saying is that you're waiting for the market. I mean, that's what I'm doing.
No, but that's not okay. That's, once again, that is not investing. Okay, you can say that I'm a trader and I sold all my shares because I feel like there's a trade coming that I can get a better price. An investor, I'll give a perfect example where everybody will understand what an investor does. When we buy a house, and we did buy a property, I can't buy and sell that house every single week and to get a better price and get a higher price I can't be in and out of that. Whether the market tanks or it doesn't, I'm in that deal. For the long term.
But the difference between real estate is it's one price and you have to buy it or don't. You can't buy.
It's not liquid. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like we couldn't have bought 10% of it when the market was low, then bought another 20% of it when it was low. We had to buy the whole thing.
Well,
that's the difference.
I know, but my point is I'm relating it to long-term investing, which is a real investor. I don't look at, because the market ran up, I should sell it now and make 200 grand because I expect the market next year, which we do expect it in real estate, to get soft again. And I could make a difference, maybe 100 grand difference. So it's not nothing. But to do that is absolutely insanity if you're an actual investor in a business.
Yeah.
Like if you owned a business, if you owned a Subway or whatever, you can't be flipping, your Subway franchise left and right. You just have to stick out the good times and the bad because you think the long term you're going to do better. This is what I mean. He's not an investor. He's a trader, which is
But
okay.
two points to that. That goes to the point of the major positions in your portfolio or your crypto are to be seen as real estate, not a stock that you trade in and out of. It's meant to be treated as real estate. This is property that I own. My percentage of Tesla is my percentage of Tesla, and I'm holding on to that because I believe the value is going to be more in 10 years. If I can accumulate more on the cheap, great. But you're right. I'm not going to run in and out of it. But I don't fault him for holding cash right now. I don't see any positive catalysts on the horizon that are going to push the markets up. So I myself am holding cash on the side right now. It feels better to have it.
I'm holding cash too. But I want to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm holding some cash too to buy on any big dip. And I've been DCAing, but that's not the point. He said he sold all his stock. Me and you did not sell all our stocks and then holding cash. We have all our stocks and we're accumulating cash on the side to buy more stock. Obviously. So we're investors because we actually want to accumulate. And he's not an investor because he's trading the main thing that he loves. How can you love something and then just get rid of it? I don't believe that. That's a trade. Fine. But then just say that.
All right, guys, if you like this video, please hit like, subscribe, join our Discord, and join our Patreon. This was a fun one. We're going to be doing more of these in the future.
Yeah.
Want to sign off? Do you sign off? I pick one.
See you later.